What a responsibility. After such a putting myself so high, my gosh. But thank you so much. I want to begin by thanking all the group that has been made possible Claudio and my visit here. It's Gainesville is our second home. I'm not going to cry. We raised our 3 children here. Now we have 2 grandchildren. And yeah, but I'll show everything, and then if I have to cry, I'll cry in the end. But but I really want to thank Marianne and Betty and Karen and all the group of TCD, all the girls and boys actually, who have made it possible, really with the details, for us to be here in such a loving care. So thank you, all of you. If you want to raise your hands, just like you did in the beginning, everybody that contributed, somehow interviewed us or things like that, please do. Come on, you did. Yeah, a lot of people. Thank you very much for everything. What I'll be showing today is I'll focus on the education portion of IP. So Claudio had a chance to show, unfortunately not all of you were here, but Claudio had a chance to show more of IP, and I showed a great deal of the education, environmental education program, but today I'll be focusing more on the education per se. So the title we gave to our presentation was Motivating Students on Sustainability and Conservation Through Education. And I would like to recognize the University of Florida as a whole, of course, Center for Latin American Studies and TCD, University of Colorado, who is also our partner, and Columbia University, who has trusted us and sent their students for the past 12 or 13 years. All of our education has been extremely influenced by our conservation model that we put together because of the way we learned in the field. So we begin with the species, and I put a little photograph of the black lion tamarin there so that you could see this was the beginning of everything. And we really didn't think we were going to get to the point of the education and of IP itself. It was a project. It was Claudio's PhD project, and I got involved in education as we went along. But then the idea was that we thought that only by understanding the black lion tamarin we would be able to save it. We found that it wasn't enough, so we went to environmental education. Everything that Claudio found in the field, I translated into appropriate language and made it kind of sexy for everybody to be interested in, and turned it into environmental education. And then habitat conservation, because we needed the habitat for the black lion tamarins and for the other animals. Community involvement with sustainable development. So I was very pleased today to see that all of the presentations today actually focused on local communities. I really believe that conservation cannot exist if local communities are not involved. Landscape conservation, it's a planning of the whole region, influencing policies, which is one of our goals, but sometimes you don't get there. Everything with participation and everything with research-based. So you make less mistakes. The idea is for you to monitor as you go along to make a little bit less mistakes than you would eventually without this care. What do we offer? Short-term courses. This began in 1996 when we moved to this region of São Paulo and put together an education center. Then we moved to, we were able to offer a master's program. In 2007, we applied for the Ministry of Education. We had already within our group more than 10 PhDs, which for Brazil is very atypical. And for our surprise, it didn't take many months, and we were approved. We thought it was going to be, last very long, all the process. Then later, USP came to us in a very cooperative way, and we have been offering an MBA with USP, with one of the departments of where they offer an MBA. And the idea of the MBA is for us to also touch the business world. because it has such influence in everything that is happening in the world. So we want to put sustainability, a grain of sustainability, a seed of sustainability within this field as well. And we don't know the future. We have been talking about an undergraduate program, a PhD, as soon as we are graded by CAPES. This needs time. And we even think about a school for small children. So we don't know what will happen in the future. But I know that our dreams will not end like that. I mean, so fast. I have to tell a little bit of the story of how we put together this master's program. We see that Hannah was with us, and she represented TCD and the University of Florida. We had Don Melnick from the University of Columbia University, and then we had professors from other universities of Brazil that we got together to make a curriculum that was our dream curriculum. If you were beginning a master's today, what would you like to see in a master's? And it turned out that we were able to, we were very influenced, I have to say, and you will see, by what we were exposed here at the University of Florida with the interdisciplinarity and so forth. But we were able to bypass the rigid system and put together a seminar that we include everything that we think a student has to learn as they have to go to the field afterwards. And so this is our center at Nazaré Paulista, where we offer the master's program and the short-term courses and the MBA. And the first partnership ever with the private sector was with Grupo Martins, and they donated the Amazonian boat for us to be able to offer courses for the ribeirinhos, for the people who live along the river, the Rio Negro River in the Amazon. And this made a huge difference, because in the Amazon, people from the Amazon who are here, if you have a boat, you have status, you exist. And we began to exist. We were there already for a long time, but we began really to be recognized as an institution in the Amazon because we had a boat. So we were doing the same things, only now we had presence. In Bahia, it's a customized program because we were invited to offer a master's program by Instituto Arapiaú, and it's funded also by Fibria. I'll talk a little bit about this. And where do we teach in Bahia? This is an association house, so we rent it, so we help the association as we go along. But this is the view from the classroom. So you can imagine that it's hard to teach, thinking that the beach is there waiting for us. But what we do is usually we wake up very early, go to the beach first, and then go and teach. So I have to, now I'm going to share with you some of our approaches to learning. Instead of being the traditional learning is everything is compartmented. And of course, we would like the interdisciplinary and integrated fields. Theory predominates in the traditional way, and we put theory with practice. Knowledge is restricted to academic environment. With us, knowledge is intertwined with several sectors, including the business world. If I have time, I'll tell you how we do this. Choices between the social and the environmental. With us, the social has environmental and the environmental has the social. There's no separation. So if you see any similarities with MALAS, with TCD and other UF centers, I believe you can see easily how influenced we were. Main points of our teaching model. ASCA's our school, because it stands for Superior School of Conservation and Sustainable Development and Sustainability. ASCA's does not adopt nor the public nor the private teaching models. We get what we think is the best of both worlds, except for the money of the private, of course. We don't have that. ASCA's students' theses are not destined for being in the shelves. Usually it's a professional master's. This was the first time that the Ministry of Education was signing a master's that was professional. So our students have to do something that is practical, that can be applied. Even being small, ASCAS encourages students to try new ideas, new innovative paths that really are giving a step forward somehow. We are a school where theory and practice go hand in hand in search of a more sustainable world. Our pedagogical foundation is mentoring. This also we were very influenced by here. Our students, in the last year that they are working on their own, we have 4 meetings with 4 professors or 3 professors, so that they can really feel that they are monitored. We can give them bibliography and show them case studies that they can learn from. At ASCAS, the organization chart was replaced by interdisciplinarity. So we work throughout and we accept students. Like we had one that came from the health department, and she said, you know, all my patients, they come again and again and again, and it's all because of the environment, and I know nothing about the environment. She was in. I mean, this is the kind of situation that we are encouraged to include. Or an architect that also had environmental concerns. ASCAS seeks entrepreneur students for admission. This is just, I got this from Fábio Scarano, who was at CAPS at the time, and then he was CI for many years. I don't know where he is now. But the idea is that with us, scientists, we tend to take a long time. Everything needs to be, you have to have data to confirm everything. But the decision makers, they need things immediate. So the scientists, they love the whole debate. And right now with the little papers, we were having a great time debating what was, what were we going to put in those little papers. Decision makers, they want yes and no. You know, come on, give me your answer. And so it's what we are trying to do is linking so that our students can also influence the decision makers. And it's a different language, it's a different pace. Few professionals for so much biodiversity. I also got this from Fábio Scarano, John, the Venezuelan, João Paul Rodrigues, and Castro and Locker. While a country like the US has 95 conservation biology programs, 26 Latin American countries, from Mexico all the way to Argentina, have only 12. In order to catch up, if based on the human population, and this is not new, I don't know how it is now, this is a few years ago, 2000. In order to catch up, if based on human population, the number of programs should be 174. If based on only the existing birds, not mammals, not insects, only birds, the estimate would be 351. Over the years, investments for conservation have focused in protected areas, and only 4% have addressed capacity building. So only 36% of the publications about Brazilian Amazon have a Brazilian author or co-author. So this means, and this is our anguish when we began, this means that we need a mass of people in where the biodiversity is in order to protect what we have. The knowledge, sometimes people go there and do their masters, their PhDs, and then they don't even come back to show their results. And this is something that I'm going to tell this because I think it's important for this audience. We have everyone that works, what they do after they finish, they have to go to the communities and present. They have to go back and present their work. And I think this is just a question. I saw that you do that too. And I was very pleased because we call it a Morning with Science. And we invite people to come for the Morning of Science. And this became a trend, which I think is very important. And I got this from Tiago. I don't know if Tiago is here. Yeah, Tiago Souza. yesterday, and I photographed it because it shows also a big difference between the US and Brazil. Look at the amount of areas, millions of acres protected. Brazil has 190, and the US 84. Employees, 1,667. The US has 21,669. National parks, we have 71. Here, 59. Visitors, 6 million. Here, 273 million. Budget. Oh, budget, I want to cry. So I don't think I'll read the budget. And visitors' revenues. In Brazil, 10 million. Here, 1 billion. So, I mean, it's very hard, and I'm glad that Avezita is here because she's been helping tremendously with, and Connie as well, with the conservation of our protected areas. I mean, they really need protection. I mean, it's beautiful, it's outstanding. We have the biodiversity that everyone could dream of, but then all the pressures are there. So IP's vision, education vision, to establish a reference center for the education of leaders who can create and disseminate innovative models of biodiversity conservation and sustainable development. Students for new times. And this is really important. These photographs, Claudio was in the Amazon, and he pushed his small iPad. And the kids, they weren't interested in nothing else. They just wanted his iPad. And they came, you know, like a magnet. And the other thing that I photographed here on campus, these two girls were probably in their internet, of course, because this is so, you know, you take for granted now. And their libraries is there. So the old classrooms, they don't really need to exist anymore as we conceived them. I love to, you know, to be in a classroom, but still, it's something that we as teachers need somehow to innovate. So we want to ask our students to learn not only to reflect systematically on several challenges, but also to transform ideas into action. We believe that today's students need to learn how to build and manage organizations, businesses, and projects, thinking creatively in an interdisciplinary and challenging way, all based on research and participative actions. This is just to give you an idea of the profile of people we receive. This is not so new, but we have government, business people. This is for the short courses. Third sector, which are NGOs, academia, students, autonomous professionals, and people who didn't indicate themselves. So this is more or less the chart for short-term courses. And short-term courses, I think I need just to explain a little bit. It can happen at IP's headquarters, and it can be most technical and scientific, and it can be cookies for communities in the shapes of the animals, or loofahs in the shapes of the animals, or T-shirts, or whatever. And it can also happen, these courses can also happen elsewhere. We had with Moore's funding, with WWF, we were able to offer, for example, 23 courses in the Amazon for managers. I went to the capitals and also to the interior, but mostly capitals of the Amazonian states 23 times to offer the courses for the managers. So this is an example of courses that we offer throughout our curriculum. Courses, profile of the MBA, non-governmental organizations, and the private sector. Private sector, in this case, they are interested, like they can send their environmental professional to be able to have more skills in the environment area. And profile of the masters, government, NGOs, which are organizations of the social society, private sector, and recently graduated from the undergraduate program. Fundraising is a saga. How do we get funds? So far, we managed to grant full or partial scholarships to our students. in our campus in Nazaré Paulista and elsewhere. In 2009, we started an off-campus program in Southern Bahia with the support of this institution, Arapiaú Institute. Belongs to a very rich man who put together this institute, and he's helping a certain region. Of course, he's very rich. He can choose what he wants to support. And in 2010, Claudio was able to get from Fibria, which is the biggest water pulp company of Brazil. And together, we are able to, together with these two fundings, we have been able to offer the Masters in Bahia. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service also helps with education in general for IPE, and we have been able to offer some scholarships and fellowships over the past few years. Short-term courses are sometimes offered in other regions, as I explained, the Amazonian ones. Students usually pay a fee, which is always, so far we have been lucky enough to subsidize the resources. Otherwise, students who choose conservation are usually not very wealthy. So we have to fundraise in order for them to help. We had one case. We had a scholarship, and the girl was really beautiful. She said, you know, my family is very rich. I would feel very guilty if I got. And she got the first place, so she was going to get it. But this was once, yeah. It was very beautiful, and we were able to split in two and give two half scholarships. So some results. I'm glad that I'm getting there. Around 700 students annually attend the short courses. Since 2007 that we began, more than 50 students, I think it's 52, I'm not sure, but 51 or 52, that completed their masters at ASCAS IPE. And the second MBA just finished, so each one has about 20 or 22. So it's about 40 students who have completed their MBA with us. Future needs. From professionals, form professionals who can, and this I think is for all of us. I mean, I don't know, of course I'm talking about IPE, but to form professionals who can incorporate conservation and sustainability into their overall practices in many sectors as possible, in as many as possible throughout society. When we began, it was very sectoralized in a way, you know, oh, conservationists do this, and lawyers do that, and doctors do that. Now, I think the environment is throughout all the disciplines, so we really need to reach out. I don't know how, but we need to do this as much as possible. Encourage even more fields of knowledge and experts into conservation and development education to better respond to the complexities we face today. Introduce means that can bring added value to natural areas, integrating social, environmental, and economic aspects. Stimulate creativity and entrepreneurship spirit in the education processes to better respond to the emerging needs. And this is something we were raised to be obedient, to accept everything as it comes, and suddenly we want entrepreneurs in our world. So I think that's why I keep on thinking of having a school for small children, because somehow we need to innovate in the education, total education. It's a new paradigm. We need people that go there and do things and are brave. And if we make mistakes, okay, but at least we tried. And seek partnerships that can enhance local, regional, national, and global integration and collaboration. And this is it. Thank you.